This
Um,
call is being recorded.
so I am recording our conversation. Please
Oh,
don't
yeah, that's cool.
no, please don't hesitate to interrupt. That's totally fine. One thing that I saw, especially seeing your son is in Taurus, right?
Mhm.
Is that it's in the 12th house, and the 12th house is the most misunderstood house in astrology. So, you
Mm,
know, it's something that is not it's the house of the unconscious, and I would imagine, especially with Uranus opposite your sun,
mhm.
Uranus opposite the sun can bring technological glitches and people thinking that you're crazy, like super crazy, when actually you're a
Yes.
genius.
Thank
And
you.
being in the 12th house, I can imagine that people's body language speak an entire language to you that they may not be aware you're completely analyzing real time.
Yeah, I'm an acupuncturist.
Oh my god, thank okay, I was gonna say everyone that I've seen with, like, because you have Chiron and Taurus, which is natural healing, and
Yeah.
anyone who I've seen with that opposite Uranus, it's like y'all have these psychic abilities to just automatically know where on the body to touch somebody to heal
Yes.
them, and
Yeah,
I have chills right now. Thank you for sharing that, because
yeah, yeah. I always say too, I'm like, it's like my hands have their own sensors, like, they just take over.
yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
needed to hear that. Trust me, I needed to hear that. That's amazing. Like,
yeah.
they're usually massage therapists, but now to see you do acupuncture is so amazing
Mhm.
because the Uranian element opposite the sun is juxtaposed towards your dealings with other people. And it's like you're aware of the hidden aspects of their own physicality and self, but
Yes.
it helps to innovate their lifestyle. But it's just this now set like you're not meant to live a normal lifestyle. It's very
I
unconventional, and
know.
people can kind of right? People can kind of
Yeah,
feel like, "Oh, you're" but only stupid people will think that genius people are crazy people, so that's how I
yeah,
kinda
exactly. That's how I've really grown into that lately, especially the last 3 years. I'm like, "Whatever."
wow, that's profound, and another reason why I feel like the 12th house is misunderstood is it kinda synthesizes and blends the nature of the subjectivity of your own consciousness, but then bridging it objectively. So, it just enables people in here. It's a hidden house, so it's like you can see the hidden aspect of people's values. The 12th house before it's a superpower can be a weakness,
Mm.
and Gemini risings and Gemini's, the 12th house Taurus could be well, I like to call it divine laziness to where we don't
Yes.
necessarily right? We could kinda just be really stuck on our own, like, thing, but
Yeah.
really in its positive, it's this divine sense of values you stand on that enable you insight that I feel like most people won't even see. Now add that to the fact that Chiron is on here. Your spirit is linked with natural healing. And this is literally the ability to just touch people and heal them, shift stuck energy. But Uranus opposite this, like you said, it's like the electricity kind of comes from a deeper place. And this can be very shocking in the ways that, right, you could just
Mhm.
clear cognizantly, like understand facets of people's psychology. And then on top of that, your moon is in Leo. So all of this is royalty, by the way. As an angel,
Mm.
you have the soul of the solar queen and then the spirit of the natural queen. So, right, it makes you the
Alright.
golden producer, the awesome boss, but it's really cool because I noticed that you have Lilith on your moon, and that's definitely an archetype that I wanna study more extensively in women who have it on the rising, the moon or the sun. Every woman's re hello?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
there
it just paused for a second, yeah.
every woman's relationship with Lilith is different. Some
Mm,
people embody it, and Lilith, I'm working to get a more. It's still very misunderstood energy because Lilith is very much so. In some cases, I feel at its pure element. It depends on the context of the time period. So, because for the longest amount of time, women have been suppressed, and more so in the element of sexual expression I feel
mhm.
like Lilith plays the rebel in where she's gonna stand up to that masculine authority, even against other women per se. It's just every point has like a negative or a positive
Sure.
aspect. So you can see Lilith in the charts of people who stand up for people's right to kind of express themselves in a certain way, or
Yeah.
you can see it in people who, sell themselves on the internet, or in that whole nature. I feel like with your moon there, you're going to be able to understand that archetype within both men and women, and this can attract a lot of spicy drama because like, you may notice nuances towards people making advances, or people just kinda having a certain energy that they may not even be conscious of. This
Mhm.
this makes you her vessel, and in Leo, she's gonna be very spicy, and it's going to represent, as a Gemini rising, I think the very spicy, saucy part of you that will not necessarily be afraid to communicate certain reflections that you have that could probably rub
That is
some
the
people
truth.
wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, people so many times people are like, "Did you really say that?" And I'm like, "Of course I did."
Yes, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love it. That is so awesome because the 3rd house Leo to the Gemini rising is an element of, like, sun breathing. It's like solar, it's the courage to express your ideas. Because if it was just
Yeah.
the Gemini, you'd be, but with the Leo, you say it with your chest. So it's understanding really a lot of that dynamic, but now this forms a very crucial cross, and this is where I wanna give you the celebrities with the MC in Aquarius article. So when I send you this article, it'll include
Mm.
that. And you and I both have MC in Aquarius. It's just I have a Taurus
Nice.
rising with this, and you have a Gemini rising. So the Gemini risings with this are angels with this celestial legacy. The MC in Aquarius is the strongest legacy one can have. The most powerful
Oh.
is Capricorn, and the most magical is Pisces. But what's really cool about this is when you'll see in that article, first of all, Saturn went through our MC. So that year, 30-year cycle
Mhm.
established success and 30 years of knowledge, because MC in Aquarius means that your legacy is to be known. And as a Gemini rising, you're going to be known for teaching knowledge, or for kind of expressing this higher humanitarian effort. The way this works will be different for everyone. So Will Smith, a Gemini rising, won his only Oscar when Saturn was on his MC of accomplishments, and
Huh.
Saturn was that Oscar, right? Even though it's also penalties, and he's probably penalized from that too because of what he did. But it really is amazing because when you look down at this list, all the people with MC in Aquarius, we have Miley Cyrus, Hillary Clinton, Amy Winehouse, Kristen Stewart, Will Smith, Pamela Anderson, Ashton Kutcher, Jared Leto, even Dr. Dre, like Matthew McConaughey, Gordon Ramsay. What you notice with all these people is that they're one of a kind. They're very unique.
Yeah.
Most of these people have had their careers for a long time, and it really speaks to the nature of the Aqua MC, because it's collective, and so it really appeals to like all of humanity. So it's something to keep in mind because Pluto's getting ready to awaken it. Saturn went through here already. So relative to the last 30 years, where you probably still were just coming into, yeah, you still had your Saturn return to complete, which happened
Mhm.
2008. And okay, yeah, you're born in 79, so your destiny is linked with your karma. Saturn in North Node in Virgo is a very huge deal. That's the heaven to earth destiny pipeline that 97 re-inherits. So you have a lot of very key aspects in your chart. You got the queen goddess Juno in Aries with Mars in its dignity, Mercury and Venus in the 11th house. So as a Gemini rising, this is the exciting, bold, assertive aspect of you that, of course, creates this belonging and social circle of authenticity individually. What I love about Aries 11th house is that we are our own team. So like, the moves you make to build community are all individually around your identity, and not necessarily a mask or a social persona. It's going to attract people who are raw, aligned to you. But because your sun is in Taurus, these elements could influence you unconsciously. And it's really amazing because we talked about the Leo, but the Aries is also very vulgar. It's very raw. It's very
Mhm.
authentic. It's very original. I have Mars in Aries myself, and I love it because it's so instinctual. The only thing that's troubling about it is before we can think about what we're doing, we already did
I know.
it.
and
Oh, yeah.
said it at
And
OL.
said it with Mercury, right? Yeah, like and it's gonna come from a very raw place, which I think the authenticity could be too much for a lot of people because you have
I
Pluto and Libra. So
Yeah,
it'll
I
get
was gonna I feel like so that's actually part sorry, I feel like that's part of the what
Mhm.
reason I wanted that read because I just don't get that, and I feel like that Aries part of
Right.
me is so strong, and I
Yeah.
feel like it kind of repels people sometimes.
I'm so glad like, a lot of what you're saying is just teaching me now how to see it's confirming a lot was a theory for me, and I appreciate a lot of it because that's a huge element here. Normally, Pluto oppositions or Uranus oppositions to the Sun in one way, it's one thing, but then we also have to factor in Taurus and in Aries. Aries and Taurus are both antisocial energies because
Yeah.
they're opposite the socials. And I feel like society doesn't respect us as individuals because of the social expectations that, kind of protrude, oh, you should want to be social or you should want to do this.
Yeah.
But some people just don't want to talk to other people or get to know other people. Like we like to do our own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you're a projector too, right? I'm a
Yeah.
projector. I feel
No
yeah.
way, that's amazing. So
Yeah, I
that
feel like
that's
that's
awesome.
another reason I'm like, I need to be by myself for a long time.
Right. No, for real, and with Venus that's 12th house to your Sun, it's like in the 11th house of company, it's like you're gonna love the company you have by your own self, doing your own thing, and that doesn't mean you won't like hanging around with other people, but other people who gravitate around what you're doing will favor that versus having to kinda like it makes even more sense as a projector because, we're waiting for the invitation, but,
Right.
it's still I love how you asked that question because the Pluto Libra, right, is going
Mhm.
to be anything that's an opposition in the chart denotes an outside influence. So the
Okay.
opposition is going to be other people. And the Pluto and Libra
Oh,
is going to be this extreme social opposition to your individuality as an attempt to manipulate, as an attempt to coerce, because there are going to be a lot of people who are just jealous and envious of how authentic you can be.
yes.
So people who are fake and have false pretense, they are gonna hate you. And the whole time is it's not even like you hate them, you're just
I
being
don't
original.
even care.
Right, right. So if anything, it kind of just denotes I like to see Pluto aspects like that as unveiling indirectly demonic influence, but on another type of that, in the simplest sense, it's really just purity. So because it's so pure, like on the other hand, sometimes it could be so extreme, and so that could be too much for people. Oh, I think I lost you again.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
It was like
perfect.
real fast.
Alright. But yeah, I mean, I feel like with the Pluto opposition, the way you express sometimes Aries energy can be too bold, and that can kinda reflect very extremely because sometimes it has to,
Yeah.
especially if it's in response to that type of thing and people learn the hard way, "Oh, we're not supposed to mess with her." But it's still very transformative because it brings that extremeness towards this social axis in a way that opens up creativity. But with your mind and Mercury and Mars, like opposite this, ironically, with Juno, there's a regalness to this. So Juno's going to add this sense of rulership and royalty to this authenticity, and then all this connects to the Leo moon. So there's so much courage that you hold space for in harnessing this and then I didn't even realize you have Jupiter 1 degree. So it's still close enough to your Leo moon to add so much expansion. Jupiter, the king of the gods, that adds this very abundant expansion to how creatively you can really hold this in your soul. So if we look at the nodes in your destiny, oh my gosh, like the bars of fortune on a north node is super rare. Your destiny is to establish this grounded home of some sorts. Which is very vague. I apologize, but the fourth house north node is very interesting because it's using the 10th house resources of career success it's almost as if you're karmically bound to your ancestry and
Hmm.
to establish, right? You're literally bringing this from heaven down to earth. And as a Taurus sun, this is going to really represent the support you gain from the collective in order to creatively establish this. But the challenge with the Virgo is socialization and the karmic lessons and challenges that come from socializing and dealing with criticism for your beliefs, or really just, the karmic lesson of bringing everything together and fixing what needs to be fixed, or applying this sense of analysis. So I would like to know how you identify with that, because this is very significant, especially given that Saturn is transiting this right now. You're literally completing your Saturn return at present that you started 2008. So yeah.
That that is interesting. So I feel like I was a mess in my 30s. Like I was just saying this to my stepdaughter. Like I was a mess up until like 36. I stopped drinking and that's when I like just I was like I need to do acupuncture. That's like I'm here to do that. And I have been like vocal natural medicine throughout all this shit that's happening
Mm.
in the world. And like lately, I've been watching you about, like you've been talking about coming into your superpowers and who you really are. And I'm like I feel like I want to like really bring like a healing center here. You know what I mean? Like just like wake everybody up, like stop with these pills and let's
Yeah.
take care of our bodies while we're here.
I have chills again. I have chills again because the strength of your healing ability is bordering on the miraculous. So like I feel like that's the unconventionality to why some people might have a hard time accepting why, like, you shook their hand and their headache vanished, or like you're applying like a real scientific basis behind miracle healing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because this eclipse is on your Taurus and Scorpio, and I think it's
Mhm.
unlocking the final part of this, completing in your Saturn return to where there's almost a double portion bearing the mastery and experience you've had, and now there's more noticeable effects. Whereas there's always been effects, but now there's even more noticeable effects that are unexpected. Like you probably were just trying to heal this, and then they had all this extra stuff healed. And I really see this becoming a reality for you, where this is especially like this idea that you said the North Node's going to go into Aries, and now that you've unlocked your angelic being through 2020, and I feel like this 12th house Taurus is you in belief, like, wow, I want to create these centers. The North Node in the Aries is where you're going to take the action to finally go in your community and like gather the people who can help facilitate this, and to really share this ability to the right people. And
Yeah. I think I've been starting that now. Sorry. Like I feel like I've been like praying and asking for like the right people to come to me because I'm sick of all the other people that are coming to me.
well, it's great to know that. I would. This is going to shift in August, so I think that's going to
Mm,
be very dynamic. Yeah, the nodes will shift, and the North Node in the fourth house Saturn can also denote to family issues or treasure. It looks like both, to where you're establishing maybe for the next generation. But South Node Pisces is like South Node Aquarius to me. To me, that South Node Aquarius comes from the ancient future. South
mm,
Node Pisces to me comes from a heaven realm. Like you guys came from
mm,
heaven, you know?
mm.
You came from the divine world, the astral realm.
To
Um,
help us get our shit together here.
right. Yes. This could also even represent early childhood gifts of imagination and
Yeah.
being
Mhm.
creative. So the challenge for you is to now develop critical analysis, to take this boundless imagination and to really focus it with the right people. But once again, socialization, it's not like we don't know how to socialize, but for
Mm.
that to be a challenge, especially with Pluto and Libra, can sometimes be more of a headache than it has to be because
Yeah.
of
It's
ego.
tiring.
Right. So it's nice to see a lot of this kind of turn around. Saturn
Mm.
that's going through your 10th house is actually going to create this dream and make it real, which is
Yes.
also really awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
And then Pluto is transiting your MC. So the more it awakens through the ninth house, the more this is going to extremely awaken your status as maybe a teacher of women this up. Oh, but I can't
Mhm.
forget about the grand fire trine. So we know you have
Mhm.
Aries. We know you have Leo. And by the way, please don't hesitate. If there's anything you want to ask or interrupt, you are welcome at any moment to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Neptune in Sagittarius is one of the most magical aspects you have in your chart
Huh.
because this is seventh house to you. So in a way, this is a shadow aspect to where you may attract people who are super spiritual and awakened, or they're just like frauds and liars.
Mhm.
And I don't want that to sound too vague, but it's maybe because of the inviting nature that you may have that
Mhm.
can cause people to feel like they can kind of just take advantage before they find out the hard way that you can't really be lied to, and you're very discerning. But that Neptune aspect, I think, is the unconditional approach you have towards people that will kind of weed away whether they're legit or not. But this also brings clairvoyance of other people. So it's like Neptune in the seventh means you can hold visions of other people and see the meaning of what they really are through those relationships. And as a Taurus sun,
Huh.
this will influence who you trust and what boundaries you draw. The grand fire trine will now hold this energy in your soul, and the rawness of your Aries instinctual actions based on Neptune's vision relative to who you're dealing with of what direction to go. And this might be so fast that instead of a vision, these could be just like lightning thoughts, like claircognizant thoughts, flash
Mhm.
insight. But theoretically, the seventh house Neptune would show that, like me that's in your seventh house right now, because I'm holding space, right? Anyone who you're talking to, you might get this like intuitive understanding of who they are or what they mean. Or you might be able to see images and
Yeah,
visions.
I feel it. I feel it in my body. It's so weird. That's weird that you say that because I just, like, feel it in my I just get, like, a vibe off people all the time, like, within seconds.
And yes, I appreciate you said within seconds, and I appreciate you said you feel it because your soul directs connectly to it or
Yeah.
connects directly to it. So
It's funny because I always thought it was that had something to do with, like, my aura projector, like, the projector aura. Like, I always wonder about that, but I also think that's part of what makes me really good at what with patience.
oh yeah, and I think the projector aura has a lot to do with it too. I
Yeah.
think if anything, that aspect kind of shows us the quality of it, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super awesome. I
I
think
know, that's so
Jupiter. So I was gonna say Jupiter actually conjuncted the sun on your Mars. So this was a new cycle of evolution towards really creating this community and evolving the community of where you belong individually so that by the time we go to Libra season and then 6 years later you've completed this evolution by expanding how much more socially influential you can be and what kind of friends you connect with creatively and what kind of work you do socially or what you've accomplished by then if anything.
yeah. I'm excited about that. That makes me feel hopeful because I feel like maybe I got through some of the tough shit.
Actually, I'm very excited to say that you are reaching the end of this cycle because Jupiter
Woohoo.
it's gonna go in your sign in May, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be like a chapter 1 of evolution, but your rising is in Gemini. So 2024, once the rising goes out of Gemini, brand new 12-year cycle, and in the 2023 to 2024 period through the 12th, in case you feel like lethargic or you just might feel like isolating yourself, it's like you're putting in work behind the scenes before 2024, you come out and then new cycle. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to look forward to.
Alright, and us projectors need as many naps as possible, so
Oh my god, yes, I agree. Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have any, questions at all?
No, this was so good, thank you so much. I still feel bad about the whole, like, craziness of
No, that's totally fine. That's not
alright,
a
no,
problem.
thank you so much. I feel like I'll probably be back for more readings.
Cool.
I'm excited. Thank you so much, I hope you have a great day.
Likewise, you're gonna get this email from WeTransfer with the recording.
Oh,
So,
beautiful.
yeah. You have
Alright.
a blessed week.
Yeah, thanks. I'm about to go get some cryotherapy in a sauna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great day.
Likewise.